Have you ever looked at someone wildly successful and thought, how do they do it all? The truth is, most people who achieve greatness aren't superhuman. They aren't working 20 hours a day or juggling 5 jobs while writing a novel and running a marathon. What they have mastered is the art of consistent effort, of dedicating just a single hour every day to becoming better, sharper, stronger. 1 hour a day may sound small, even insignificant, in a world that glorifies hustle and burnout. But when used with intention, that single hour can be the spark that ignites a completely new chapter in your life. Imagine this. What if you set aside 1 hour a day, just one, and used it to learn a new skill? What if you decided today that you'll spend 1 hour every day practicing guitar, studying a foreign language, or writing that book you've been thinking about for years? In just 3 months, you'd have invested 90 hours into something meaningful. That's more than 2 full-time work weeks of focused, uninterrupted growth. Most people don't even give their dreams that much attention in an entire year. It's not about time. It's about consistency, discipline, and belief. The most powerful thing about the 1 hour a day mindset is that it makes big dreams approachable. You don't have to drop everything and change your life overnight. You don't need $1 million or a PhD or the perfect conditions. You just need 1 hour, 60 minutes. That's less time than most people spend scrolling on their phones or watching a TV show. You already have that hour. You just haven't assigned it a purpose. The secret is to make it non-negotiable. Treat that hour like a sacred appointment with your future self. Don't wait for motivation. Show up whether you feel like it or not. Because momentum doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from action. Let's say you want to get in shape. You don't need a personal trainer or fancy equipment. You just need to commit to moving your body for an hour every day. Walk, stretch, lift, dance, run, anything. After 30 days, your body will begin to respond. After 60 days, your energy will improve. After 90 days, people will start asking what you've been doing. Your mind will sharpen, your confidence will build, and suddenly, you'll be living proof that transformation is possible, all from a single hour. Maybe your dream is more intellectual. You've always wanted to code, start a business, or become a better communicator. An hour a day with a good book, an online course, or a challenging project can completely rewire your brain. Knowledge builds like bricks. You lay them one by one, hour by hour, and soon enough you've built a structure of skills and ideas that can support the life you've imagined. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But that's the beauty of it. Real growth is slow. It requires patience and persistence. And 1 hour a day teaches you both. Think about how much time we lose to distractions. The average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media, passively consuming content that adds nothing to their lives. But what if you reclaimed just half of that time and used it to create instead of consume? Imagine writing songs instead of just listening to them, painting instead of liking someone else's art, learning instead of endlessly scrolling. That 1 hour becomes a doorway to your higher self. We're so used to thinking in extremes. Either we overhaul everything or we do nothing. But life doesn't work like that. Lasting change is built brick by brick. 1 hour of writing a day can turn into a novel in a year. 1 hour of studying can lead to a new career. 1 hour of silence and reflection can unlock emotional healing. You don't need a full-time commitment to chase your goals. You just need to stop waiting for the perfect time and start using the time you already have. Discipline doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing something intentionally, even when it's hard. There will be days when you're tired, unmotivated, or distracted. That's normal. But if you show up for your hour anyway, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that you're serious about your life. And that changes everything. Because once you know you can trust yourself, you begin to believe in your power. And belief is the engine of all achievement. You won't see the change immediately. You might even feel like nothing is happening at first. But stay with it. Because transformation is often invisible in the beginning. Seeds take time to grow. Muscles don't build overnight. Confidence doesn't appear in a flash. It grows in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when you're doing the work not for applause, but for alignment. 1 hour a day might not impress the world at first, but give it 6 months, give it a year, and the results will be undeniable. What you do in your 1 hour matters, yes, but what matters even more is the fact that you showed up for it. Every single day, you are voting for the person you want to become. That hour becomes your practice ground, your sanctuary. Your promise to yourself that you are worthy of progress. You don't need to sprint. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to decide that your future deserves one focused hour a day. You see, it's not about the hour. It's about the identity you're building in that hour. You're teaching yourself that your time matters, that your goals matter, that your growth is worth protecting. It's an act of rebellion in a world that wants you distracted. It's a declaration that you are not too busy to care about your own life. And that mindset alone can create ripple effects you can't even imagine yet. Every great journey begins with a single step. Every masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. Every success story begins with a single hour that someone chose to protect at all costs. And now it's your turn. You have the same number of hours in your day as the most successful people in the world. The question is, will you spend one of them investing in yourself, or will you keep postponing the life you deserve? There is something sacred about setting aside 1 hour just for you. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, where demands come from every direction, carving out that time becomes an act of self-respect. It's a commitment not just to progress, but to presence. Because in that hour, there are no distractions, no noise, no expectations, just you and the task that matters most. And when you begin to show up consistently in this way, something powerful starts to happen. You begin to see yourself differently, not as someone who only dreams, but as someone who builds. Not as someone who wishes for change, but as someone who creates it, 1 hour at a time. When you use that hour with intention, your entire perception of time changes. You stop thinking in terms of days wasted and start thinking in terms of progress made. Suddenly, a week isn't just 7 random days, it's 7 opportunities. A month isn't just a calendar page, it's 30 hours of momentum. And a year? That's 365 hours of focused action. That's more than 2 weeks of full-time effort invested purely into your growth. Most people never get that kind of return because they don't give their dreams that kind of attention. But you're no longer waiting for life to happen. You're choosing to shape it. Think about how confidence is built. It doesn't arrive fully formed. It's not granted by someone else or earned through luck. Confidence is the byproduct of showing up over and over, even when you're unsure, even when you fail. That 1 hour a day becomes your training ground, not just for skills, but for belief. Because every time you sit down to work on your goals, you reinforce the message that you are someone who follows through. You begin to walk differently, speak with more certainty, and hold yourself to a higher standard, not because someone told you to, but because you've proven it to yourself. One of the greatest challenges in life is bridging the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That gap can feel overwhelming, even paralyzing. But when you commit to just 1 hour a day, the gap shrinks. The path becomes clearer. You're no longer frozen by the scale of your ambition because you've broken it down into manageable steps. The hour becomes the bridge. And every time you cross it, you move closer to the version of yourself you're meant to become. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when your energy is low, your mind is cluttered, or your heart is heavy. Those are the most important days to show up. Because the discipline to invest in yourself when it's inconvenient is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Anyone can work when it's easy. Champions are forged in the moments when it's hard. That 1 hour is not just about productivity. It's about proving to yourself that you are in control of your destiny, no matter what life throws your way. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. But the truth is, a year of focused effort, 1 hour a day, can change almost everything. You can go from beginner to proficient in a new language. You can turn a side hustle into a business. You can transform your body, your finances, your relationships. You can create art, write a book, build a brand. You can study, heal, organize, and evolve. And the best part? You still have 23 hours left every day to handle everything else. This isn't about sacrificing your life. It's about enhancing it. Let's be honest. Most people aren't stuck because they don't have time. They're stuck because they've never learned how to use time with purpose. They're reacting instead of creating. But you don't have to be most people. You can decide today that 1 hour a day is no longer negotiable. You can decide that your growth is not something you'll get to someday, but something you're committed to now. And once you make that choice, you'll start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You'll find energy where you once felt drained. Because clarity and purpose have a way of lighting everything up. You don't have to do the same thing every hour. In fact, that hour can evolve as you do. Maybe for 3 months you focus on writing. Then you shift to fitness. Then to learning public speaking. That hour becomes a flexible, living space that grows with you. You're not locked into one path. You're expanding. You're becoming. That hour is not just a routine. It's a reflection of your evolution. People often ask, what if I don't know what to work on? Start anyway. Use that hour to explore, to try things, to make mistakes. Because clarity doesn't come from sitting still, it comes from action. Maybe you journal for an hour a day until you uncover what really matters to you. Maybe you spend that time listening to podcasts, reflecting, reading. Eventually, patterns emerge. Passions rise to the surface. Direction forms from the dust. But it starts with movement. The worst thing you can do is wait for inspiration to find you. It's already inside. You just need to give it space to breathe. Your 1 hour can also become a form of resistance. In a world that encourages you to conform, to settle, to shrink, that hour becomes a radical act of self-ownership. You're declaring, I will not let this day slip away without pouring something into myself. That's powerful. That's rare. And that's how legacies are built. Not with loud announcements, but with quiet determination. Not with overnight success, but with daily effort that compounds into something unshakable. There's a reason people with clear goals and daily rituals often seem calmer, more focused, more alive. It's not that their lives are easier. It's that they've created a rhythm that honors their potential. That hour is like a drumbeat, steady and strong, carrying them forward no matter the chaos around them. And you can have that too. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need permission. You just need to show up for yourself consistently, unapologetically, and with intention. Don't underestimate what's possible when you protect your hour fiercely. That time will begin to feel sacred. Ideas will flow more freely. Progress will come faster than you expect. You'll start to crave that hour, not because of what you produce, but because of how it makes you feel. Empowered, focused, awake. And when that happens, you're no longer chasing discipline. You're living in alignment. That's when the real magic begins. What would happen if you gave yourself 1 hour a day for the next year? What could you build? Who could you become? The answer is simple. Anything. Anyone. The hour is yours. The choice is yours. The time is now. 1 hour a day is more than just a block of time. It's a doorway. A doorway out of mediocrity and into mastery. Out of confusion and into clarity. Out of fear and into courage. And once you start walking through it, you begin to understand something profound. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are simply 1 hour away from momentum. 1 hour away from feeling alive again. 1 hour away from reconnecting with the part of you that still believes, still dreams, still dares to reach for more. And when you taste that kind of progress, even in the smallest dose, it becomes addictive in the best way. So many people drift through life hoping for change, but never committing to it. They wait for a sign. They wait for motivation. They wait for someone to push them. But waiting is the silent killer of progress. Nothing changes while you wait. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Dreams don't wait for the stars to align. But 1 hour a day, that's how you stop waiting and start doing. That's how you shift from passive to active. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. And when you realize you have that kind of power, you'll never want to go back. It doesn't matter what your goals are. Maybe you want to change careers, build financial freedom, repair your health, deepen your relationships, or finally finish that creative project you keep putting off. Every one of those desires is valid. Every one of them is within reach. But none of them will materialize without your consistent attention. That's what the hour does. It gives your dreams a seat at the table. It forces you to prioritize what matters instead of getting buried in what's urgent. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters every single day, no matter what. 1 hour a day forces you to confront your excuses, the ones that sound so convincing in your head. I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. But when you look at how much time you truly have, and how much of it slips through your fingers on autopilot, it becomes clear that the issue was never time. The issue was intention. The truth is, most people could find 1 hour if they truly valued what it could become. And that's the difference between those who grow and those who stay the same. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the willingness to make time for growth even when life is hectic. And here's something incredible. The more consistently you give yourself that hour, the more time you actually create. You start to move through your day with more focus, more discipline, more clarity. You waste less time on distractions. You recover faster from setbacks. You operate from a place of grounded purpose instead of scattered urgency. That 1 hour doesn't just improve that moment of the day, it elevates the entire day. It sharpens your thinking, strengthens your decisions, and reconnects you with the why behind everything you do. Sometimes people say, but what if I try and it doesn't work? But that question misses the point. The goal is not to become perfect overnight. The goal is to build a new relationship with yourself, one based on trust, consistency, and self-respect. Every hour you invest, even if the results aren't immediate, is a deposit into your personal power. You're proving to yourself that you are worth the time, that your goals are worth the energy, that your future is worth protecting. And even if you stumble, you will rise with more strength because you've trained for resilience, not just results. There's no timeline for greatness, no single definition of success. But if there's one universal truth, it's this: no one gets better by accident. Growth is not a lottery, it's a decision. And 1 hour a day is how you make that decision visible. It's how you embody the belief that you can change, that you are not limited by your past, that your circumstances do not define your capacity. Every time you sit down to practice, to learn, to move, to create, you're rewriting your story. You're taking authorship of your life, and nothing is more powerful than that. Over time, people will notice the change. They'll ask how you did it. They'll wonder what your secret is. And you'll smile, because the answer will be simple. You'll say, I gave myself 1 hour a day, and I didn't quit. It won't sound flashy. It won't sound revolutionary. But that's because true transformation never does. It looks like quiet discipline. It looks like early mornings and late evenings. It looks like choosing growth over comfort again and again until the choice becomes automatic. And eventually, it becomes who you are. The best part? This hour becomes contagious. When you begin to prioritize yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You become an example, a light, a spark for the people around you. Your energy changes, and it impacts every conversation, every connection, every room you walk into. You're no longer just talking about goals, you're living them. You're no longer preaching discipline, you're practicing it. And that ripple effect can't be measured, but it can be felt. You don't just change your life, you change lives around you. So the question isn't, can 1 hour a day change your life? The question is, what will you do with that hour? Will you use it to write the next chapter of your story? Will you use it to break the cycles that have held you back? Will you use it to build something that outlasts you? Because that hour is yours. And inside of it lives your potential, your future, your evolution. Don't let it pass by. Don't treat it like spare change. Guard it. Protect it. Fill it with purpose. And watch how everything else begins to shift. You are 1 hour a day away from becoming who you were always meant to be. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Because the only thing standing between you and your next level is the choice to commit to that hour. Day by day, step by step, quietly, persistently, relentlessly. That's how change happens. That's how lives are rebuilt. That's how dreams are made real. No matter where you are today, no matter what you've been through or how long you've waited, your time is not over. You haven't missed your moment. It's still here. It's waiting in the next 60 minutes. Pick something. Start anywhere. Be patient with yourself. But do not stop. Do not give up. Your hour is not just a slot in your schedule. It is your lifeline to something greater. Use it well. Honor it. Show up for it. And in time, it will show up for you in ways you never imagined. Your life is calling, and it only asks for one thing, 1 hour a day. Will you answer?